welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. Today's Wednesday afternoon video is a wee update on all the transfer ins and outs coming and going at Celtic, and all the details are accurate and up to date around 2:30 on Wednesday afternoon. But of course, at this time of year, in the transfer window, things can change in the matter of hours, and so if there are any significant changes, I'll do further update videos for the rest of the week to keep everyone up to date. Current news indicates that Celtic have made a bid for a young Danish winger currently playing in Holland for Go Ahead Eagles, a player called Jakob Breum. Just a wee bit of background for him. He is 21 years old, 6 caps at under 21 level for Denmark. His contract with Go Ahead Eagles runs through to the end of June 2027. He plays left wing, right wing, and attacking midfield. Occasionally has played midfield roles as well. And around about half of his games are at left wing, and 25% right wing, 25% attacking midfield. Thought to be on around about £2,000 per week at Go Ahead Eagles. Celtic are said to have put in a £1.5 million bid for him. His transfer valuation and asking price from Go Ahead Eagles was around 4.5 to 5 million. They seem to have upped that a level overnight to up to 6 million, according to recent stories. And there's a claim that he's wanted by all the top teams in Holland, although haven't seen any confirmation of that. And it seems just to be something circulated by the people at Go Ahead Eagles and a rather unreliable Dutch journalist. Looking at some of his stats for last season, his season rating last season was 7.3 out of 10, which is obviously very good. Last season in the Dutch top division, 31 games, 11 goals and 6 assists, which again is good goal output, 1 goal every 3 games. Probably looking for his assists to be a bit better than 1 every 5 games. Over his whole career at Go Ahead Eagles, since he joined them in January 2023 for £450,000. Whole career there, 68 games, 14 goals, 10 assists. Previously played for Odense in Denmark, where he was 51 games, 4 goals and 3 assists. And looking at his whole career in Holland and in Denmark, both at first team, reserve team and under 19 level, whole career 169 games, 35 goals, 21 assists. Looking a wee bit more depth regarding some of his other stats, good passing accuracy at 78%, although crossing accuracy down at 20%, 17% goal conversion, and 0.8 shots on target per game. Possession lost at 14.4 per game is rather on the high side. Dribbling success not too bad at 47%. Poor aerial duels ability, pretty good winning the ball back on the ground. However, poor defensive midfield stats for things like interceptions, blocks, tackling, and so does suggest that he may not really fit into Celtic's model of playing, like Maeda and last season Kwon and Forrest and Yang all tracking back to help out in midfield. And so there is some question as to whether he fits Celtic's model of how players in Brendan Rodgers' setup play out wide. Haven't as yet done a scouting video for him, as there doesn't seem to have been any follow-up so far from Celtic after reportedly having that bid for 1.5 million turned down. As I said, Go Ahead Eagles seem to have bumped their price up from around the high 4 millions to about 6 million now. And so if there is any movement with that deal or story, I will do a further update. Just also to cover on another player that Celtic are said to be interested in. I did a full scouting profile video for him earlier today. That was Ondrej Bacanin, an 18-year-old Serbian defensive midfielder. He's got pretty impressive stats in terms of passing and ball winning, and in most stats relevant to his role as a defensive midfielder. Really had only one partial season in Serbian top football of 19 games, and so is relatively inexperienced. Does seem very highly sought after, and so for fuller details, I would suggest going to see my earlier video of today, specifically about Ondrej Bacanin. Doesn't look like Celtic have really pursued their interest in him so far, although some stories are suggesting that Celtic are deep in negotiations for bringing him to the club. Also said that Celtic are carrying on their pursuit of players like Lennon Miller, Michel Onge, Balikwisha, and Etienne Youte Kinkoue. In all three cases, it's thought that Celtic have significantly increased their efforts in negotiations and bidding, although as I am often finding these days, there are an awful lot of stories circulating at the moment, and quite a lot of them seem made up or based on very little evidence. That's exampled by stories overnight that Yang had moved to Norwich or was on the verge of a move to Norwich. This appears to have been a story created by a South Korean football site based on absolutely no real evidence or real story. Most Scottish and British football sites and transfer sites have poured cold water on the possibility of Yang going to Norwich. And to the best of my knowledge, Yang is currently in Como with the Celtic squad in preparation for tomorrow's game against Ajax in the Como tournament. On a similar theme, what I can confirm is at the start of the week, Luis Palma has moved to Lech Poznan. That's on a 1-year season loan. There is no obligation for Lech Poznan to buy Luis Palma at the end of that season. However, there is an optional €4 million buyout clause if Lech Poznan choose to keep Luis Palma in their team. On a similar note, there were lots and lots of stories 2 or 3 days ago that Marco Tilio was on the verge of signing on loan for Rapid Vienna in Austria. That story seems to have gone away. There's not been any confirmation up to the time of recording that Marco Tilio has moved to Rapid Vienna. The difference in the Marco Tilio deal is there is a €400,000 loan deal price, which Rapid Vienna have to pay Celtic. And there's also a clause in that loan deal if Marco Tilio makes 20 starts for Rapid Vienna, there is an obligation to buy Marco Tilio for €1.3 million, which of course would pretty much recoup all of Celtic's outlay when they bought Marco Tilio a couple of summers ago from Melbourne in Australia. So I was expecting on Monday or Tuesday that deal would be fully confirmed. It still hasn't been confirmed as of Wednesday afternoon at time of recording. And so maybe there are one or two wee hitches that have cropped up. Maybe there's been problems with Marco Tilio's medical, not unexpected, in a player who's spent an awful lot of time out injured in the last 2 or 3 years. Or it may be that there's been second thoughts about Marco Tilio leaving the club, and sort of wait to see whether that gets confirmed in the next few days. News stories suggesting our Korean midfielder Kwon is actually going to be transfer to FC Nantes in France, rather than going to Austria Vienna as was expected. There are even some suggestions that Kwon is over in France having a final medical and final contract negotiations. But again, at the time of recording, there was no confirmation of that deal. But it is a wee bit unexpected that a team of the level and prestige of FC Nantes are looking to bring in Kwon, who, according to Rogers, is totally surplus to requirements at Celtic, and Rogers has never tried Kwon in anything other than friendly and testimonial games. That just about finishes off this wee update video. As of time of recording, there doesn't appear to have been any definite progress in bringing any new players to the club. There are, as I said, a lot of links with Celtic and multiple players. There are many stories suggesting that Celtic are upping their negotiations and bids for, in particular, Lennon Miller, Michel Ange Balikwisha, and Etienne Youte Kinkoue. But nothing as yet regarding any other player that Celtic may or may not have been bidding for, and no update on Munteanu, the Romanian striker playing in Romania for Cluj. So that just about finishes things off for today's video. As I say, all the details were accurate up until about 2:30 on Tuesday afternoon, and so apologies if anything does change. But that's the best summary of all the current Celtic stories. As we finish, just a wee polite suggestion for those not yet subscribed to the channel, please do click that subscriber button, keep the numbers pushing through the 1300s, and do feel free, as always, to put your pleasant, polite thoughts, comments, opinions into the comment section for a nice wee debate amongst Celtic fans on the channel. And so until the next video, goodbye and hail, hail.